Quinn was a monster.
Don't stop your hand. Let's go. Use all your power. There you go. Good. Tight of hand, tight of hand. There you go, boy. Bring it. Bring it.
All right, now let's talk about what Dan Quinn had to say at his press conference this morning. Again, we got a lot of play-by-play, so don't want to spend too much time here. But he talked about a couple of interesting things. First things first, he talked about the right tackle rotation, and he said not to pay too much attention to that or not read into that too much because they're just trying different things out on the O-line right now. And Andrew Wiley, he got first team right tackle reps yesterday, but today it was Connerly's turn to get first team right tackle reps. Now, that could have been because Laremy Tunsil got a vet day off and Andrew Wiley had to be moved to left tackle because of that, and then Connerly was moved up to first team right tackle. But Connerly was with the first team today at right tackle. Andrew Wiley was with the first team yesterday at right tackle. So seems like they'll be flip-flopping a little bit until Josh Connerly earns his starting spot at right tackle. So I wouldn't be worried too much about that. I still expect Connerly to be our starting right tackle by week 1. And they did this with Jaden last year. They were making him earn his spot. So I do expect Connerly to be the starting right tackle week 1. Quinn said that this offseason they wanted to be a line of scrimmage team first, so they focus on the line of scrimmage, really focus on improving the line of scrimmage. Obviously, offensive line and defensive line, we made big additions on both sides. We added Connerly and Tunsil on the O-line, and on the D-line, we added guys like Kinlaw, Eddie Goldman, and Von Miller, and Dietrich Wise, among other guys as well. So that was definitely a focus for us this offseason. And then Quinn also talked about his comments about Sam Cosmi's return. And he kind of went back to what he said yesterday. And he kind of said, yeah, week 1 may be on the table, but they really won't know where Cosmi's at until about a month from now, right? So obviously DQ has said time and time again that they won't rush Cosmi. It's a process. They want him to hit every single marker, and right now he's done that. So they don't know if he'll be ready or not until a month from now. So yeah, he could be ready for the start of the season, but they just won't know until a couple of weeks, right? So that is really what DQ had to say, or some of the things he had to say during his press conference this morning. Moving on to some play-by-play. 3 guys had vet day off today. Those guys were Von Miller, Noah Brown, and Laremy Tunsil, like I mentioned just a minute ago, right? And it's the second day, so I guess you could say kind of crazy that they got a vet day off, but, you know, Von Miller, he's 36 years old, and with Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner, last year we gave them a lot of vet days off during training camp, and every single Wednesday it felt like Zach Ertz had a vet day off. Well, he did have a vet day off. Same thing with Bobby Wagner, right? So, you know, just giving him a vet day off. Same with Laremy Tunsil. And then Noah Brown, he's good. Like, he's not hurt, but they still are trying to take it slow with him. They're trying to ramp him back up. So I guess they just gave him the vet day off because he, you know, still trying to ramp up from the injury he suffered during mandatory minicamp. But let's move on to some play-by-play. Marcus Mariota and our quarterback. His first pass was to Ja'Cory Brooks for a decent game. So Ja'Cory Brooks, he keeps standing out. He had a touchdown today. Let me find that tweet. It was from Jaden Daniels. I think it was in 7-on-7 drills. So, man, Ja'Cory Brooks, 3 touchdowns in the first 2 days of training camp. Had 2 yesterday and 1 today from JD5. So, man, he is really making his case to make the roster early on in training camp. And if he continues to play very well during training camp and into the preseason, he may have himself a spot saved on the roster, right? But we shall see. 7-on-7 drills. Jaden's first pass was a wide open touchdown to Chris Moore. Chris Moore's another guy who is honestly in the mix for the last receiver spot. I don't think the chances for him are high, but hey man, he's been impressing a lot. He impressed a lot during spring practices, and so far through training camp, he has impressed even more. So if Chris Moore keeps this up, he may make the roster. We shall see though, because Ja'Cory Brooks, he is balling out. Now you also got to remember that Michael Gallup and KJ Osborne are also in the mix for the last receiver spot, but hey man, haven't heard a lot about them through the first 2 days. Have heard more about Chris Moore and Ja'Cory Brooks. So if those two guys keep making plays, might be time for Michael Gallup and KJ Osborne to step up, but we shall see as training camp goes on. Noah Igbinoghene had a nice PBU pass breakup while working against Michael Strahan, who had a touchdown pass in his hands before it was broken up by Igbinoghene. So good to hear Igbinoghene making plays. Defense had really good coverage during a 7-on-7 period with Mariota in at quarterback. They forced him to scramble on back-to-back reps. So good to hear. Obviously, the secondary, defense overall, but the secondary definitely needs to improve this year. So it's good to hear that, they are making some plays during training camp. And that might be it for the updates. Oh, Mikey Sanders still, he had a couple of nice PBUs during 7-on-7 drills. He's working on the inside with Lattimore and Amos on the boundary, of course. So Mikey's moving back to his natural position. Trey Amos also had a pretty good day. He's looked impressive, man. I'm super excited to watch Trey Amos this season. I think he can become a Pro Bowl corner and has the potential to become an all-pro corner in a couple of years. So super excited to watch Trey Amos, and hopefully Marshawn Lattimore can return back to form, because if he returns back to form, Trey Amos becomes what we think he can become, and Mikey Sanders still is a baller in the slot. We could have a deadly cornerback trio. And then Von Miller spoke to the media after practice. He commented on why he decided to come to the Commanders, and he said that you can't just leave Josh Allen and go anywhere. That's a direct quote from him. You need to go to a place that is all about winning, because Von Miller himself is all about winning, and he decides to come here because, look who we have at quarterback. We have one of them ones at quarterback, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And that is one of the reasons as to why Miller decided to come here, along with us being a successful team now, right? So you see the impact Jaden Daniels has, not just to this team on the field, but as well as pulling in other free agents or available guys, right, on the market. So that's just amazing right there to hear from Von Miller. Miller said the plan that the team has for him this season is to just rush the quarterback. And he said that he can roll out of bed and rush the quarterback. That is what he does nowadays. And I love that, right? Like, that's what we're going to ask him to do this season. Just rush the quarterback, purely using him on obvious passing down situations and critical situations like 3rd and 4th down, late game situations, things of that nature, right? So super excited to watch Von Miller this season. And then Von Miller commented on Bobby Wagner, saying that he is still one of the best run defenders, open field tacklers in the NFL. So obviously great praise from one vet to another. So Von Miller, super excited to watch him this season, and that was his presser today. So that is it for day 2 of Commanders 2025 training camp. One thing I forgot to mention is that Luke McCaffrey, he did have a touchdown in 7-on-7 drills from Jaden Daniels, so that's good to hear. Obviously, we want Luke to be better this season. We need him to be better this season, and it's good to hear positive things about him for sure. But again, that's it for day 2. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications. Comment down below your thoughts from day 2 of training camp. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.